The sky above the vast desert trembled as a storm of cosmic proportions brewed. Sandstorms raged in defiance against the rolling thunderclouds, where streaks of lightning illuminated the heavens like the wrath of an angry god. In the heart of the celestial tempest, two figures stood facing each other. Odin, the All-Father of Asgard, and Anubis, the jackal god of the dead. The confrontation had been inevitable. The balance of power among the gods had been disturbed. Anubis, guardian of the afterlife, had sensed an unnatural presence, an entity beyond the cycle of life and death, moving to the Egyptian underworld. It was Odin, searching for knowledge hidden within the realms of the dead. "You have overstepped your bounds, All-Father." Anubis' voice echoed, a spectral growl that carried the weight of countless lost souls. His jackal eyes glowed with eerie, otherworldly light. "The afterlife of Egypt is not your hunting ground." Odin gripped Gungnir, his legendary spear. "As is one good, I burn with unyielding resolve. I seek wisdom, not war. But if battle is the price of knowledge, then let the gods bear witness to our reckoning." Anubis raised his staff, the scepter of Maat, and the very fabric of the underworld responded. The ground beneath Odin's feet cracked, and ghastly arms of the long dead rose from the abyss, their decayed fingers reaching to pull him into the void. With a roar that shook the desert itself, Odin slammed Gungnir into the earth, unleashing a pulse of raw power. The spectral hands evaporated in a burst of divine energy. He then launched forward, his golden armor gleaming, as he swung his spear in a devastating arc aimed at Anubis' throat. Anubis barely moved, yet his form twisted like a shadow, slipping through Odin's attack with unnatural grace. The jackal god countered with a swipe of his clawed hand, crackling with the energy of the underworld. The claws raked across Odin's armor, sending sparks flying and leaving dark scorch marks where the touch of death had kissed the metal. Odin grunted but did not yield. Instead, he summoned the runes of Ragnarok, whispering incantations that summoned golden sigils around him. With a mighty stomp, he unleashed a shockwave of pure force, sending Anubis hurtling backward. The Egyptian god landed effortlessly, his spectral form flickering before he fully solidified. "You wield power well, but your flesh is still bound to mortality." Odin, with a wave of his staff. The air turned frigid, and the howls of lost souls filled the battlefield. Anubis had summoned the abyssal hounds, monstrous entities of shadow and death. They leaped forward, their fangs dripping with necrotic venom as they charged the Norse god. Odin spun Gungnir in a whirlwind of destruction, skewering two hounds mid-leap, while another lunged at his throat. With a snarl, he caught the beast midair and snapped its spine with his bare hands, hurling the lifeless form aside. But Anubis had used the distraction well. The moment Odin dispatched the last hound, the jackal god was already moving. From the shadows, he materialized behind Odin, his claws surging with soul-rending energy. He struck, piercing through Odin's back with his hand phased through his armor, not as a physical attack, but a direct assault on his soul. Odin staggered, feeling the chilling grip of the underworld pulling at his very essence. The pain was unlike anything he had known. It was not of flesh, but of spirit. His vision blurred for a brief moment as Anubis' death touch spread through his divine form. But Odin was no mere god. He was the All-Father, king of the Aesir. With a deafening bellow, Odin summoned the power of the storm, his body erupting in a flash of golden lightning. Thunder roared across the heavens, and the ground itself trembled under his fury. Anubis was forced to withdraw, his spectral form distorted by the divine storm. Odin turned, his eye blazing like a dying sun, and with one mighty swing of Gungnir, he hurled the spear straight at Anubis. The impact was like a comet crashing into the earth. A massive explosion of divine and necrotic energy erupted, sending shockwaves across the battlefield, tearing the very fabric of reality. The sands of the desert turned to glass under the intense heat. As the dust settled, both gods remained standing, their gazes locked in unbreakable defiance. This battle was far from over. The sands of the battlefield were scorched in glass from the sheer intensity of divine energies that had clashed. A heavy silence hung in the air, broken only by the distant rumble of thunder. The air was thick with the scent of burnt magic, the echoes of destruction still rippling to the ethereal realm. Odin stood tall, his golden armor cracked but unbroken, his one good eye burning with the fire of a warrior king. In his grip, Gungnir hummed with boundless power, the legendary spear still crackling with the remnants of its devastating impact. Across from him, Anubis still stood, but barely. The jackal god of death was kneeling, his ethereal form flickering between solid flesh and intangible shadow. The divine wound from Gungnir's strike burned deep into his chest, a wound not of mere flesh but of essence itself. Yet, the god of the dead did not waver. His glowing jackal eyes locked onto Odin, filled with a fury older than time itself. "You are powerful, All-Father," Anubis rasped, his voice carrying the weight of the afterlife, the whisper of 1,000 lost souls laced within it. "But not even you can escape death." Odin grimaced but did not flinch. He rolled his shoulders, loosening his battle stance, and smirked. "I have walked among the dead, Jackal Lord. I have tasted death and defied it." His voice thundered like the rolling storms above, "and I will not kneel before it now." Anubis let out a low growl. He lifted his scepter of Ma'at, slamming it into the earth. The reaction was immediate. The sky darkened. The very fabric of reality trembled. The sand beneath Odin's feet shifted and then collapsed, revealing a horrifying void beneath him, a gaping chasm into the Egyptian underworld. Abyssal hands, composed of writhing shadows and screaming spirits, lunged upward, trying to drag the All-Father into the eternal night of do it. "I do not need to kill you, Odin," Anubis declared, his jackal fangs gleaming. "I only need to bury you beneath eternity." For the briefest of moments, Odin felt a pull, an unnatural force gripping his very soul, attempting to wrench him from a mortal plane. The weight of 1,000 forgotten pharaohs and 1,000,000 nameless spirits clung to him, whispering his name in ancient tongues, eager to claim the god of war and wisdom. But Odin was not so easily taken. The All-Father's rage erupted like a solar storm, his body blazing with the power of the Aesir. He slammed Gungnir into the ground, and from the impact, a shockwave of golden lightning exploded outward, obliterating the spectral arms in an instant. The abyss shrank back as if recoiling in fear, the howls of the damned turning to agonized shrieks before fading into nothingness. Anubis' eyes narrowed. This was not the response he had anticipated. Odin had resisted the pull of the afterlife itself. "You are strong," Anubis admitted, "but I am not yet finished." With a flick of his wrist, the jackal god disappeared into shadow, vanishing from sight entirely. Odin whirled around, his battle instinct sharp. He could feel the shift in the air, the unnatural chill that heralded death itself creeping closer. He knew what Anubis was doing. A predator's strategy. He was the prey now, a whisper of movement, a shadow that flickered for less than a heartbeat. Then, Anubis struck. The jackal god reappeared behind Odin, his claws elongated, coated in the essence of oblivion itself. They raked across Odin's back, cutting not just flesh, but through his very soul. Odin gritted his teeth as a searing pain unlike any he had ever felt surged through him. This was no ordinary wound. Anubis had struck at his spirit, his essence, his divinity. For a moment, Odin's vision blurred, his strength waning. The Underworld's pull returned, stronger than before. Anubis snarled, pressing forward. "You are fading, Odin. You cannot resist forever." Odin staggered, but then, thunder. A deep, earth-shattering boom echoed across the battlefield. The sky split open, revealing an endless ocean of golden lightning, twisting and writhing like a living force. Odin let out a guttural roar, and his body ignited with the full power of the storm. Anubis' claws, still embedded in Odin's back, were instantly repelled, as if the very universe rejected his presence. The jackal god stumbled backward, his spectral body distorting from the sheer force of Odin's unleashed divinity. Odin turned, his good eye burned like a dying sun, and in his grasp, Gungnir hummed with the song of creation itself. "You strike well, Anubis, but I am not merely a god. I am the All-Father, and you are in my domain now." With a mighty heave, Odin hurled Gungnir. The spear became a streak of golden light, a comet of raw divine energy tearing through the air. Anubis tried to fade into the shadows once more, but Odin had anticipated it. The runes inscribed on Gungnir shifted mid-flight, adapting to Anubis' spectral form. the spear hit its mark, Anubis let out a cry of agony as Gungnir pierced his chest completely, embedding itself deep within his form. A massive explosion of divine and necrotic energy followed, shaking the heavens themselves. The sands rose in a tidal wave, swallowing the battlefield in a blinding storm. When the dust settled, Anubis was on his knees, his form flickering, fading. Gungnir had rooted him to the earth, preventing him from escaping. Odin walked forward, slow, deliberate. His heavy steps echoed like the footfalls of fate itself. Anubis looked up, his jackal face filled with pain, yet still holding defiance. "You have won," he rasped. "For now." Odin regarded him silently, then spoke. "You may reign over the dead, Anubis, but I reign over gods." With one final surge of power, Odin raised his hand to the sky. A massive column of lightning erupted from above, striking Anubis with the full force of Asgard's judgment. The jackal god let out one final, echoing howl, and then he was gone. The battlefield fell into silence. The storm settled. The sand stilled. The All-Father had triumphed. Odin exhaled, pulling Gungnir from the scorched earth. He glanced at the sky, where the last remnants of Anubis' essence faded into the wind. Anubis was defeated, but Odin knew this war was not truly over, for death never forgets.